thing. So I just want to show you some techniques and how I do this kind of things and a workflow. I really encouraging everybody's doing, but you know, there's always hundreds of ways of doing the same drawing. You know, different people have different habits or approaches to do that. And today there's a couple files. The first file is like a CAD file. This is a file I'm gonna using right now. Basically, it's called workshop start. Um, you know, you could download it and you could follow me if you can. If you cannot, you probably just watch and see what I'm doing. And there, I do have like a slides about each like actions I'm gonna talking about here. Um, and that's yeah. So and then here is the file that is everybody. That's pretty much that's probably the start file of the assignments we're using. The assignment is here. In the assignment, you can download the file. That's in here. See the base new DWG file. So that's the file you start how you start your assignment. So I just use the same file. So in this file, they will have a lot of like symbology ready for you. So for you to kind of just to create your sheets after that. But for this one, I just want to show you. I use the same file, so just getting things started easier on that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is units. That's the when me personally doing it, I usually I check units. Oh, it's usually always the same process. And the first time I'm doing, before you do anything, you have to make sure what kind of units you are. So for this file, actually the units is not set up right. You know, so when you download that file, you open units, it's showing up as decimal, which means when you draw and it's a feet. So it's feet, that, you know, that's feet and it's decimal, which means, you know, every number down here is 1, which means 1 feet, is 2, which is 2 feet, and it's 2.2, which means 2.2 feet. Okay. But usually we want them to be architectural. So we can have this format. It's like how many feet and how many inches. You know, that's usually unless we do like a super big scale, like planning scale or something, or even too big a scale, we do decimal. Then you will be, because that for that we'll talk about like 200 feet, you know, 400 feet, those kind of things. But in our projects, usually we work on constructions. This is ideal scale for us, units for us. And for this one, one thing to understand is we set up as feet. If I click OK, they ask me, you know, whether or not to confirm that, and said, okay. And then one thing to understand is everything I draw, so you change to that, right? But if I enter a number, let's say 100, okay, I just enter a number 100. So you become, you see, it's not 100 feet. It's 8 feet 4 inches. Okay, so when you enter a number, it's not gonna based on feet, but it's based on inches, because this unit, the base unit, is actually inches, because that's why you can show 8 feet 4 inches. So that's something I got a lot of questions about that. So just make sure when you use that unit, the base unit is actually inches, even though here is feet.
Yeah, how do you, one thing that's come up pretty regularly, and you look at that, how do you change the precision? Because typically we'll just use to the inch. And not, because, you know, in concrete formwork, you know, maybe to the 1/2 inch, but not to the 1/8, okay?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can choose
so
pretty hard here. You can do half,
just,
1/4, eighths. Yeah.
so typically we would just go to the inch, the 0 feet,
Like this.
0 inch, not to the
Yeah.
1/2 inch. Because,
Okay.
you know, most of the time, that's, it's not relevant to show 1/2 inch or 3/4, you know, all of that. 64ths, it's just not relevant, so.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Good. I've seen that a lot on student drawings, so good, we got that corrected. Precision.
Yeah, you can choose yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, precision. So you can pick precision you want over here. Okay, let me just click OK. And then you can tell, you know, it's become, yeah, 8. Yes, then it's all, yeah, how many feet, how many
Yeah,
inch.
so typically our precision would be just to the even inch, and not to 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or anything like that. Now you may have an application where that really is important, but typically for what we do, to the inch is adequate.
Sure. Okay, and then the other thing is, a lot of people, when you draw, especially AutoCAD drawing, there's one thing that's come up a lot is layers, because in the end, a lot of real projects, they have like hundreds of layers over there. And it's so hard to figure out or to remember, even remember what kind of drawings is in this layer. So you probably draw it again, or you copy things back and forth, and or one thing's, or you know, different layer have the same drawings. You know, it happens a lot. So to organize drawings is most important. So me personally, I, you know, in this, because this is just start, you only have this much drawings layers for now, but when you do more and more, you will have a lot of other drawings and a lot of other layers. So my tip is using group. So you can, you know, this is like a layer tool palette. There's a button called new group filter. What do? You just click it, and then you will create a filter. And I usually at least name 3 groups. One, I just say, you know, basic graphics. You know, usually this is about like a north arrow, like scale, like a title block. So a lot of drawing items, you know, associated with the whole sheet, you know, that's shared with all the with the whole drawing basically. So that's usually the first thing I will do. The second thing I usually do annotations. That's basically about dimensions, you know, specifications, leaders. It's like, you know, like all this are annotations. Like these are like points, you know, these are like points, point elevations. This is, you know, dimensions. So all this, I usually have that. And I will definitely have another one, you know, just drawing contents. You know, if it's a grading, if it's associated with grading, I just name it as a grading. Any questions or somebody talking? So, you know, just drawing contents. I usually name it this way. So I don't know why these pop up. Interesting. What's that? Okay, good. So I have all this. And then you can just organize them really easily now. So because, you know, I know, see here, usually, you know, a lot of students, I work with students, a lot of people just draw everything in 0. And 0 is actually a temporary layer. So you just draw things in 0 and then you move them to other layers later. So in the end, you want all your drawing items in different layers. And I will tell you why in the end, why that's important. So in this case, for example, we have legend, we have title block, we have that's pretty much for here. We have scale. So what do? You just select them all and you just drag. See, when you drag to basic graphics, you click here, that's all of them. So if you want to select them, you want to hide them, you just hide them. You just hide it, and you show up, you show up. So that's a easier way to find things. So imagine you have 100 layers. You go to here, you just can't find out. So you have a focus. And the road, plant, terrain. That's pretty much all related with drawings. That's G. I should rename it. Drawings. Okay. And then annotations, we have text. We have other annotations. We have leaders, dimensions. That's text. So that's annotations. So we have annotations down here. Okay. What's cool about this is, for example, they're linked. For example, these annotations, if I select them all, I cancel them, all of them can cancel. But if you go to this all layers, you see here, it's also canceled. So if you do any adjustment here, you're also gonna show up here. So they're linked. So you won't have you mess up this way. Any questions on this? Okay. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. So it's called check layers. So you just make sure you create the groups on this layers. So yeah, we have these kind of layers down here. But then what else? What am I talking about? Okay, the other thing is delete layers. Okay, we do have an example down here. So when you have layers with other people, for example, this def points. So if you have a question, say, I want to know what are the objects in this layer, because it's probably super small or super tiny. I don't even know if I hide it. I don't even know what kind of objects gotta hide it, right? So if you want to select the objects based on layers, it's through this thing called quick select. Is by looking at this quick select. How to use quick select is by right click. There's one called quick select. Just click it, and then you have this box. So then, yeah, just remember you have this quick select. At least you have this. Then you can go back and ask me about it. You can select things based on color, layer, line type, line weights, transparency, and all that. So for example, you can choose layer, and then you can choose the names you want. If I want to know desk points, not that staff points, okay. And I want to select all the objects in this layer. If I click OK, and you see whether or not anything selected. Well, look like nothing. So basically, this layer have no objects in there. I can try leaders. Click OK. Ooh, okay. So you have a leader selected. So that is a leader. So which means this layer, def points, have no object. So I wanted to delete it. So usually we just use this button, delete. Oh, then this pop up, right? So there are always some layers you cannot delete. That's really annoying. I especially you get a file downloaded from us or from your friends, your classmates, or they give you their file, and there will be some layers they created and you cannot delete them. If that happens, you have to use a command called lay delete, lay del. So you use this one, then you can delete that. So for example, lay, oh shit, I'm Chinese for that, lay del. So you have to click that, and you click name, and you can choose the layer you want to delete. So in this case, we're in def points, and you click it, then you can, they will force this layer to be deleted. Okay. So that's this. Let me see. Quick select, like all elements. Layer, all elements. Okay, so these are in all elements. This actually is part of the drawing is supposed to be. I just drag this here. Goes here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that's this. To cover that, and what else? Yeah. Okay. There's about title block. So title block is pretty straightforward. I probably won't show you how to do it, but it's you just pretty much just draw a title block. You just draw lines and draw lines, put text on there. You can just draw lines, and but the method is through this. You create a block from it. Just imagine, I just pretty much just draw. Title block usually have a space for your names and such, right? And you probably do cover bars and probably just I should middle point. I shouldn't put that. I need to open near. Okay, so you probably just draw a bunch of those, right? You will do for your title block, right? So and then you just select them all, right? And then here there's create a block, and here is a right block. You just click that, and then you could just like they ask you the objects, and you can you can select objects we already selected, and you could give a name and new block, or my title block, things like that, and click OK, and then they will they'll include it, and then in the end, later, for some reason it's not showing up here. Okay, so this is my block. Specify a point. Wait a minute. Yeah, my block. Oh, yeah, it's showing up here. So then you can reuse them. You can just move them around and reuse them. Okay, that's supposed to be really straightforward. And you can also use. There is also a lot of good websites for you to kind of reuse a lot of download a lot of title blocks. You just Google AutoCAD, block, and you should have a creator folder, so you can find a lot of great free drawing items for you, and you can explode them and use them later. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. And the creative viewpoints, that's another thing. So we don't print things in model space. There's one way to print things is by you go to print, and you set up a window, and you go to print, and you set up a window or something, and then you do that, right? Yeah, you hear you display, you set up a window, and you print them. There's one way like this, but we don't do it this way, because when you create a construction drawings, you want to create things in sheets. The reason is because of this. Okay, so you will have that scenario is one sheet, you will have multiple construction drawings. Okay, so one sheet you have multiple construction drawings, and there's a requirement for different scales. Probably you need one place with 1:20, 1:40, and a 1:10. Okay, that was happening a lot. So you have to set up a viewpoints. So basically, I just give example. So you need to make sure page setup manager, which is here, and you want to make sure check out the size. Are we 11:17, or we are in letter size or other kind of size, right? You have to make sure that is right. Okay. So it's just make sure it's through here. Chat. Okay, that's a good question. Yes. Okay. I will talk about this. Okay, so then, okay, so 1 by 20. Okay, then about scale, right? So we need to set up a good scales. So here is all the default scales you will have. You probably, here is the thing, based on your AutoCAD version, I'm using Civil 3D version in 2021. So I have this three: 1 inch equals 20 feet, or this kind of like a, uh, 1 in 128 inch equals 1 feet. This kind of thing is basically 1 inch equals 128 feet. So you have this kind of scale. But
So the point is that 1 inch equals 20 feet is different than 1 to 20, correct?
Well, 1 to 20 is just what when we're talking about for convenience reason. But usually 1 to 20 is 1 inch in paper equals 20 feet in real site.
Okay, is 20 feet in real sight?
Yes.
Okay, so 1 inch equals 20 feet is the same as 1 to 20.
Yep.
Okay.
At least in AutoCAD, if they have that.
Okay.
But so that's how they set up here actually. This 1 by 1, and I actually renamed this. So in a lot of students, if you, in your case, you have this like 1 to 10, 1 to 10, you probably just you can rename it or set up yourself. But I set up myself. Okay. So then I will talk about how you set up yourself. For example, if I want to do a 1 inch equals 1 to 10, like 1 inch equals 10 feet. Okay. I have to do this. I have to create myself. The reason is here, you use the things here, you will see here, it's called 1 paper unit equals 30 drawing units, right? If you click here, see here, that's different. It's 1 paper units equals 360 drawing units. So what is our drawing? That's the tricky part. This always change, but this always change. It depends on your units. Okay, so it all depends on units. So in this case, you have to make sure our drawing units is inches. Okay, so if 1 paper units equals 240 drawing units, which means right now paper units is inch, and drawing units is also inch. So 1 paper units equals 240 drawing units, which means it's 1 inch equals 240 inch in real life. So it is 1 inch equals 20 feet. Okay. So if we want to do a 1 inch equals 10 feet, you can do by add, and you can name it 1 inch equals 10 feet. You can give a name, and then you can define that. So it's 1 paper units, which means 1 inch in paper. We want them to equal 10 feet, which is, but you cannot enter 10 because our drawing units is inch. So we have to enter 120. So that's 10 feet. You just click OK. So we have this one. And if you click OK, so you select this one, you find out, oh, that's 10 inch. Sorry, that's 1 by 10. In other words, is 1 inch equals 10 feet. Click here, it become bigger. Okay. So that's the convenient part. So in the future, so you don't have to set up again. You won't mess up anymore. You just choose them. Okay, if you want to set up new ones, you always go back here and click add and then set up new ones. Okay, and then I will show you the benefit of doing this. The benefit of doing this is, one benefit is easier. You can just pick and do. The other benefit is dimensions. Okay, you will, believe me, you will have these issues. a lot. Okay. For example, if you want to type a text over here, I think I talk about, yeah, that's about this. It's called annotation text. Okay. It's about text. All the annotations down here, right? They have standards and they have annotative. That's super confusing for people. Let me just try, let's say, single line text. I just type something. You know, you can actually specify the height of it. Okay, and let's just say hello. Okay, and then so I have it here. This is the sides, right? Okay. But if you look at our, if you go to here, you'll find out, okay, that's how it looks like, right? But you'll find the difference is these three things are in different sides. See that? This, this. You can see here, you can see the howdy, but here you barely see it. You can see a little bit, but here you don't even see it. It's just super tiny over here because of the scale, because the text change with the scale. That's actually, usually that's not what we want. We want, for example, because we want to see them in the same size, like 12 font, 12-point font or 10-point font. That's usually what we want to do. For example, if you go to your exercise, actually, you're talking about here, want your size, see here, text size no less than 1, you know, 1/10 of an inch, and no more than this. So you want all the text in the same size, constant size, or have 3 sides of text, 4 sides of text, right? How do you do that? That's through the so if you choose all this, you will always change the sides when you go to model space, or sorry, layout space. That's why you want to choose this annotative one. Okay. If I go to if I pick annotative, okay, here, you see the size is like here, but right now it's annotative, right? And if you go to here, what's interesting thing is they don't show anything. They don't even show anything. See here, where is my howdy, right? It is in model space, but it's not in layout space. I get a lot of questions on that. The reason is annotative, just anything related with annotative. It can be text, can be dimensions, can be leaders. They only show in the scale you define to them. Okay. Right now, if you select it and you click add scales, just here, you see here, that's the only scale. That's the object scale list. That's a scale this text only gonna show in the layout space. Okay. For example, if I add a scale, let's say I add 1/10, let's say I 1/20, I click OK. Nothing change over here. One thing do change, you see here. Previously, there's 2 kind of like these triangle signs, symbols. Right now, there's 2 because there's 2 scales this text can show. If I go back here again, well, it's actually here, but it's super big. It's huge, but that's actually the text. Okay, that's the text. And if you look at here, wait a minute, that would be so interesting. If I click here, you see here how big that it is. You will have the kind of issue a lot. I got this issue a lot, you know. But yeah, it's nice we can show it right now. Okay, so why it's so big? The reason is you define it really big. If I click here, you'll see here. That's how I define it. You see this is a property. You can always also go back, open property, and you see the property. And right now I define it as 9 inches. Okay, that's paper text height. So basically what we tell annotative is, in the paper, it need to be 9 inches tall. So this text, for example, if I set up, if I select again, if I set up as, let's say 0.1, probably too small, but 0.2. Okay, that's like 0.2 inches. Okay, if I go to here, that's 0.2 inches. So 0.2 is kind of like 24-point font in Word. If you type them in Word, or yeah, that's kind of like similar to that size. So just make sure, remember to use that and set up them right, and you will find out, oh, it becomes so tiny now. But if you choose here 1 by 20, you become bigger. So just always remember, the size of annotative dimensions are paper size, and it changes. In model space, you will change size, but in paper space, they won't. Okay. See how small that is. That's why you have to usually go back to one of the scales over here. By the way, these scales, a lot of people think, if I change scale here, if I draw like a 100, this, when I change scale, this 100 will change too. No, it won't change. This only change the annotative text. Just remember that. It's not because if you change this, the scale here, how long of this won't change. This is 8 feet. If you change to 1 by 1, it's still gonna be 8 feet. Okay, you only change the size of annotative text. That's basically what I'm gonna talk about. What if I want to? Okay, so right now I have, if I go to annotative again, 1 by 1, I can even delete that. Okay, if I add another one, let's say I have 40. Add another one, I have 10. Click OK. Go back here. See, that's what we want. We want all of them the same size. Did you find out? Even they're in different scale, but they're the same size. So it won't happen, oh, in here is so small and here it's bigger. So it will be consistent. All the text will be consistent. The dimensions, the arrows will be consistent. So that's what we need. The other thing to be mindful is, you only got, so for example, this text, right? We know there's 3 different level of dimensions. But if I go to one of the scale, for example, 1 by 1, it disappears. Because, annotative text only show in the dimensions you want. So my suggestion is you don't even have to change this here. You just set one dimension that is, good for you, and it just always like this dimension. Okay. And you can add more dimensions, in other places. But when you draw, you probably just, choose one dimension, just stick with it. Okay. Another, so what I do is usually, I usually just do this. I go to manage text styles. I usually, just create a new, just say, okay, I need one text just based on paper size, right? Like say 0.2 inches, 0.2 inch text. I just click OK. And, I click annotative, and I want to, you can set up, 0.2, and you create OK. I usually just do this. Oh, I already did that, I guess. It's already here. I just close. Oh, some reason don't let me, huh? I already did that, I guess. What don't let me close? Oh, okay. I did that. And then you know, in the future, if you do, and I just do more. I do like so every time, so in the future, I know this 0.2 is always gonna be 0.2. For some reason, I have to click this. Okay, there you go. So 0.2 is always gonna be 0.2. So you don't have to actually, you only have to do set up, 4 or 5 of this, maybe just 3 of this, and then in the future when you do text, you're always gonna be consistent. So this is a very important part. I can set up 0.2, see 0.2, and it's always gonna be 0.2. Okay. The same with dimensions. Okay, you can go to dimensions, you can create a new. I could say 0.2 inch dimension. So the text are all gonna be 0.2. You go to text and you can set up, text height. Right now it's 2 inches. It's gonna be huge. Actually 2 feet over here. So you just go to 0.2, click OK, and it's over here. Click close, and you can, do dimensions. Let's say, I want to check here to here. Well, it's a mess, I know, but I just want to show you how. Okay, so it's here, and then you go here. You see, it's showing up here. It's the same size with this. Well, why it's not showing up in these 2 drawings? Because I didn't set up other scales. We click here. I only have 1. I need to add 30 and 10. Click OK. Click OK. And it's showing up here. See, it's here. So that's basically what I mean down here. Actually, if I forgot to do 40. Do 40. So that's how you make sure all your dimensions is there and they're in the same size. Okay. If you look at all the construction drawings, you won't have, because previously a lot of students, have trouble to just make sure the scales are dimensions the same scale and consistent. This is a way to do it. Okay. Okay, so that's this. So I pretty much talk about, so basically I covered all the things associated with annotation, and annotation wildcard, and the layer group. I talked about the layer group before, and a wildcard. Let me talk about wildcard. That's just a small tip, not big thing. So it's basically, if you want to search, for example, you have like hundreds of layers, you just give a name. You see like a P. Oh, there's nothing down there, right? I just want to know all the layers have a letter with a P, and then you just add another star, it will show up down there. Okay, basically it's a star in the beginning and a star in the end. You just, LE, so you can, S O, RO AD, so you can quickly search layers this way. Okay, that's what we call wildcard. Okay, that's that. And then, okay, that's another thing really important. It's called the pentable. The issue with this, with what we have now is, actually, let me just show this. Let me just put a rectangle here. Let's go to 1 by 10. Well, I need scale to feet, and then, okay. maybe, well, 1 by 10 is too small. I probably do 1 by 5. Oh, there's no 1 by 5. I create one. Add 1 inch equals 5 feet. So this should be, cannot be 5, right? You have to multiply by 12, 60. Okay, click OK. Just bigger. And you can drag them. So okay, so let's say that's a drawing. Yeah, it's pretty awful, but I just want to get the concept. And the issue is this. Okay, here's the issue. Okay, if you print this on paper, one thing we have is there's no line weight. There's no, all the lines are the same line weight. Okay, same size. That's the first issue. I think Kenny just talked about line weights, right? We have to have a different line weights. So you have to set them up. What a setup is usually, if you go to, let me see, my announcement, there's 2 files I attached with you. One is this NCS CTB, okay? That's called National Construction Association or something, standards, National Construction Standards. It's a pentable file. Basically, is based on this. And this PDF is basically this PDF, okay? This is a national CAD standards. And basically, when you give on the screen, you in the model space, if you set up a color, the red color will print these line weights, yellow will these line weights. So different color will print, when you print in paper, will show different line weights and also different color, okay? So basically, this color, like color 1 to 9, see here. That's why, like say, for example, let's say all this, right? Well, I can just go here actually. All the, let's say, terrain. This is color 1, this is color 2, this is color 3. See here? They have color. If I go to all red, they do have color in model space, okay? They have color here too, but when you print, they don't have any color. If you print, use the construction standards, it's gonna be black, okay? It's because the reason construction standards is if you submit the drawing to other firms or something, they all gonna use these standards. Or use like engineering firm, or for specifications for records, like government records, they're all gonna use these standards. CAD file, they're gonna print in these standards. So if you draw a red and you think it's print out, it's gonna be red, you won't, because they're using these standards. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So if you want to print as red, you have to use color like 22. Okay, so for example, I can show you. If I change to color 22, you basically in color here, you just enter 22, and they already changed to 22, and you go to here, and you go to, I choose the wrong one. Page setup manager, and go to modify, and you pick NCS pentable, and you go to preview. Then it's gonna be, that's what's supposed to be. Okay, so that's why you need to make sure you draw your drawings based on these standards. That's the first thing. The second thing is you make sure you use this pentable. Okay, the next question is how to. A lot of you don't have this pentable. Okay, how to do that? How to add pentable down there? That's by using you have to, that's a little bit tricky, but you have to go to options and you have to find it. You have to go to this one called plot and publish log find location. And then you will have a path. So you have to like pretty much just like copy this path and go to your computer, paste, and hit enter. You know, and just pretty much just copy and paste your pentable in there. Let me just show you. I have a, yeah, see here. Plot style table search path. So you copy this path and you enter your computer and you copy and paste our pentable file in there. Okay, once you did that, you can see all the printing standards in there. Okay, so you get, then you can see it in here. Okay, the other cool thing is you can check this display plot styles. If you check this, you click OK. It's gonna show it here. Okay, so basically what's showing up in the layout view is what you're gonna is gonna look exact same when you print them out. But even the line weights, they're gonna show the line weights. See, if I check the line weights, see, they can show the line weights. So that's the best practice me personally using. Make sure you have these line weights checked so you can see different line weights. Okay. So use the pentable and will save you a lot of time later. The reason is, you know, you can set up the layers. If I go to model space, for example, all the basic graphics, right? I want them to be, let's say, all black. Let's say I want to do all black. I want to be color 3. Okay, let's say this thick, level 3, in terms of line weight, right? I just go to I just change color altogether. Whoops, should be here. Okay, it should be color 3. I just enter 3, click OK. Okay, it gonna looks like this. But when I go to here, it's gonna looks like this. Okay, pretty much. You know, they have a line weight sign here. The same with, so I pretty much just can, you know, set up annotations. All annotations to be like color, you know, color 5, a little bit thicker, or color 4. Click OK. So I go here. See, annotations will have, they will, you know, have similar line weights over there. Okay, you see the tree line weights is changed. See here, the tree line weights is like this. So let's see. So basically, you give different colors, then they will print based on, you know, like say here, I give a color. I just color 1. Well, we already have a, yeah, color 1. Just do color 1, and then over here, you know, the same size. So that's how it goes. Okay. But you could also specify, you know, for simple, for like a certain, you know, like why this, you know, this is secret down here. See, they specify the secret, but here, you know, it's not a secret. It's because they go with that pentable. Okay, that's why, you know, in the future, you own everything can set up just by using layers. So let me see. So yeah, that's basically what I'm talking about through here. The other thing is line type. If you have this issue, a lot of people don't have this issue. Okay, sometimes you will have this issue is your lines are dash lines when you draw it here. Okay, when you draw in model space are dash lines, But when you go to the model space, it's not dashed lines. Okay, if you have that issue, yeah, you probably want to check the line type. Just typing line type, and make sure you uncheck this. If this is checked, sometimes they just don't show up properly. Just uncheck this. Then it will be good. And if it's still not good, you probably change this scale factor, make them smaller. Then they will have, you know, more refined, some detailed line types. They can show that. Okay, I think that's all I have. I probably show quite a lot of things, but the goal is to tell you what is the best practice out there, and it probably take some time for you to pick up on all of these things. But that's why I'm here and Tao is here, and you know, when you make those drawings, and then you know, my goal is I showed you this today. In the future, you will generate a lot of AutoCAD drawings, and I will talk to you, you know, just kind of encourage you to use these techniques again and again and again. You know, if I see your drawings, when I talk to you later, individually, right? We'll have review sessions, right? Studio sessions. I see, okay, your layer does not set up right. Then I will help you set up right. Okay, your color does not set up right. Okay, your units, your dimension text, your, you know, your line type, your line weights. So we should all based on you know, the practice that should set up this way. Okay. Any questions? Hope we were recording and you can go back and look at this. Oh, by the way, for the recording, it's already here. See the Zoom? We already have recordings. File recordings. You know, this is for this Tuesday, but for Thursday after this meeting, it will be showing up here too. Okay. All right. I think I'm done here.
All right, thank you. Very good. You guys have questions? You know, maybe take a swing at it and see how it works, and shoot us some questions at that point. Okay. Well, so the exercise 1, the sheet layouts, the AutoCAD sheet layouts, title blocks and stuff are due on Monday.